Starting off for today's iMusic. Now, unfortunately, I had a bit of a technical mishap, and the Windows machine that I use for the iMusic demo is not playing ball at all, that I use the Toby system on. So I'm going to try and run this from my Mac, so you may bear with me. I'm just downloading a Mac version, beta version of the iMusic, so hopefully that's coming down. A couple of minutes left. So just to talk you through iMusic as a product, I'm just waiting for a few people to join the session just now. iMusic, we normally have been developing it, and we've been using it with Toby PCI Go. Got a few people trying it with a few other things, head trackers, and essentially it works using cursor control and has been designed to work with Dwell as a way of setting up the menus and things like that. It's been out there for a few weeks now, and we've had quite a few people testing it. So hopefully a few of you are maybe going to be online today and have some questions and some setups. You know, we've been working quickly, put a couple of revisions out. And one of the first things that we've been asked to do, let me just turn my microphone down a bit, because I think it looks to me like my level is very, very high. Let me just, oh, not Safari. So I'm still just waiting for that download to come down the pipeline. Let me just change my mic level, because that is, let's turn that down just a bit there. Now, how's that? I think that's better. Now I won't be shouting at everyone. Okay, so here we are at Skoog. We've got one person online. That's great. As I was mentioning just at the start of the webinar, I've had a couple of issues with the Windows system that I normally use, and I'm going to try and run this from my Mac at the moment. And hopefully I should be able to do that. What we're going to do is I'm going to run a screen share, but I'm having to install iMusic on this machine from scratch. So it might be well worth doing once the software comes down. So who have we got online here at the moment? How can I see? Let's just pull up the Q&A, and let's just see if there are any questions. Also, if you can use the message board to send me any questions, or maybe even have we got speaking available. So just want to check that everyone can hear me. Here's the messages. So hello, who is online? There we go. So pop a little message up there, and hopefully we've got one viewer, it looks like. So just now we're going to see if this is downloaded. Look up artist Richard Parks Bonington. I heard. What? There we go. That was a message from elsewhere. So I'm going to show that in Finder. I'm going to install that now. Music.zip. I should just be able to run that. Okay. Open. Just want to check that I'm getting a good signal. Now, so what I want to do is run this webinar predominantly using screen sharing as a mode of delivery. So I'm just going to tidy up. And the other slight issue with this session is because I've had to switch machines very quickly, we're just going to be getting the sort of acoustic sound from my machine. So here we go. iMusic is just starting up. So we'll just wait for that. I suppose the first thing is to point out that iMusic as a program, it's an instrument, so you choose, and it's in the kind of the Skoog mold. So you choose it to be a sound that you control, and then you assign notes to control, and then you can use those depending on what notes and what sounds you choose. You can then use that to make music in a variety of ways and support different music making experiences at different levels. The key thing with Skoog is that the iMusic will also be compatible with quite a lot of the current Skoog resources. Let's try this again. iMusic 2. Maybe I just quit that. So we've got one viewer. I'm not sure if that's Steve. Let's get if they could let me know who that is. Let's have a look there and see if we can get this to run again. Let's copy it onto the desktop, perhaps. Maybe it will run there. Here we go, iMusic. So I should just be able to double click on the icon and hopefully it will pop open. Now I'm just going to move into a screen sharing mode. Yes, that's looking a bit more. Here we go. I'm going to share my desktop, start screen share. Here we go. So hopefully now you can see my desktop. I'm going to shift the main window across. I'm going to run. I'm going to run in demo mode at the moment. I seem to have lost. Oh, there we go. I thought I lost my cursor there for a minute. So this is the iMusic environment. So when it starts off, the sound will be off. Hopefully you can still hear me. Let me just check that we've still got a signal there. And I'm just going to, yes, so we're still getting a signal. I just want to keep an eye on that. So here we are. Ooh. So when it starts off, this is the demo version, which is not time restricted, but it is feature restricted. But it should allow you to get a good feel for how the product works and how you ideally will be able to make use of that. And what I'm going to do in this little session is I'm going to just run through the key features and show you how to set it up. So I've just freshly downloaded this version, which is actually quite a good place to start. So we're starting from scratch. And so first thing I need to do is to check the sound card setup on my machine. So if I navigate, this is the playing kind of zone, but it won't make any noise at the moment. If I navigate to the user setup, indicated by this icon, and then just, if you're using an eyegaze system, you just need to dwell on these buttons. So I'm going to click it because I'm not using one on the Mac at the moment. So now I can choose, the software will interact with Skoog hardware if you have it, but you don't need Skoog hardware to run iMusic. So here it's on eyegaze. The response is kind of sensitivity. We can adjust dwell time, overlay modes. That all looks good. So now I want to adjust my sound card settings, which are just down in this settings section with the loudspeaker and the spanner. So what I want is core audio, and I want my output device to be built-in output. There we go. And all of these buttons are done with a repeater function. So if you hover over them, they will cycle through the menu options, which is what makes it kind of nice and easy to set up if you are using a eyegaze system or head tracker as such. So I'm going to check those settings, so they should be fine. The other important thing is to make sure you don't turn the audio on until you've set up the sound the way that you want it. So that's how I want it, core audio built in. And then I'm going down to here. This is my main audio on off, and you can see the button is not pushed in. Now it's pushed in. And now, there we go. We have sound. So hopefully you can see that and hear that. I'm just going to check. I'm just going to pop out of... Oh, I can't. Well, I'm sure you can hear that. I'm hoping you can. Please let me know if you can't. Either speak up or drop me a message. So I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to go through the key features. So all of these little tabs that pop in and pop out, their function can be brought onto the screen by hovering over the kind of button, and you can see that click in and depress, and that will animate the option out. A very important feature that we added very quickly after launching was to add a performance mode, one that also improved the response of the screen player, and other to hide these menu options. So for some users it's okay to have all of the settings there to hand, but for a lot of users, and a lot of people using the technology with students, you want them to focus on the playing, the music. And in order to do that, we've introduced this new option where if you press the H key on your keyboard, which I'm going to do now, you can see it hides all of the different menus and setups. So now I just use the screen player. So let's talk about the screen player initially for a little setup. We've had a look at setting up the sound card. We've turned on the sound. We're making sound. And I pressed H. And so in this mode, so what we have are concentric circles. And what we're trying to do here is kind of use Skoog physical modeling technology, these expressive, controllable sounds, as opposed to just on-off. They have you have a control of the timbre and the loudness and these things. And so these circles, the small represents a gentle sort of activation, and it gets bigger and louder as it goes up. So if I just look at the small one, you won't really hear anything. And as I move up, it gets louder. It's like blowing harder into the flute. You can see that. Now I can go straight in at the loud, middle, or straight in at the soft, or I can move through like that. So that's the idea behind the screen player. I find when I'm using it with an eye tracker that I like to change the feedback I get from the screen player to help me control it with the eye tracker. And I can do that in the user settings here. Not there, that's the audio settings. In the user settings, the little people, and that's the overlay mode. So that's dynamic 1. Let's have a look at that. So that gives me some joined up lines and shows me my focal point, and it kind of gives me full feedback as where I'm going, where I've been, what I want to do. I find that useful, and I actually prefer dynamic overlay 2, which is just a bit stronger. You see, and gives me points within the center of each circle as well. So that's my favorite mode. Do have a look at some other ones. There's also dots, which gives you some target dots, and none. So I'm going to leave it in, and again, just using the repeater function on the buttons in this mode. Let's close that down. So let's have a look at the different features. There's down here, there's a little question mark. If I hover on that, then it turns on the information mode. Now, whilst iMusic doesn't currently have a user guide, we've actually tried to put as much as we can into the software in terms of help. So if you can look on this screen, you can see that we've got the exit full screen option up top. The right-hand checkbox is for closing the program. We've got go to instrument page, and just going anti-clockwise around from the instrument selection on the left. We have volume and recording options, as we had a look at earlier. This Skoog settings down the bottom. Now that's if you have a hardware Skoog connected. You can actually control that using eyegaze. Set it up, get it working, all those kind of all good things. All good things. The show, hide, help bubbles. You've got the change audio driver settings with the speaker and the spanner. We've got sound effects that we can apply to the sounds that we're making in the FX tab. We've got the note selection tab, and we've got the user preferences tab. And then right up top, we've got the audio settings. Now that's for when you've done a recording. So this software, as well as allowing you to perform and play, will allow you to record that performance and subsequently edit and save that to do something with later. And then finally, just up here is the little iMusic pop-out, which will take you to where you need to go to upgrade to the full version. Okay? So I'm going to, when it's in this mode, when it's in the help mode, let's go to the instrument tab. It allows you to navigate the software, but it won't allow you to play the screen player and make noise. So I can, I can't make any selections, but it tells me where everything is and how it's going to work. Skoog, it says connect it. I can do sensitivity, put the twist on, that kind of thing. Going up to the record option. I've got recording, save recording, loop, playback, back down. And again, a variety of options here. So I'm going to turn the help bubbles off and go back into the active mode now. So just dwell on that. Everything is done by dwell, remember. Simply hover the cursor over the active button and it will activate it. And again, a lot of these are on repeat. So if you want to turn it on and off, you just hover over it again. So now we have it set on flute just now. Now, I have this in the demo mode. So in the demo mode, let's go and have a look at instruments. So we'll look over here. We can only choose flute and vibes. So to change the instrument in the same way we work with Skoog, you simply select the picture. You can see the script change. It now says vibes. I move back. So quiet, loud, quiet, loud. So I can play vibes. So let's leave it on vibes for a second. And let's have a look at the other element that we can change with iMusic, and that's the notes. So where there's this note icon here, if I hover on that, that pulls out the note settings. Now, in the demo version that I have loaded on this machine, and like I say, normally I'd be working on the HP laptop and with the eyegaze, and I have obviously a full unlocked version, but we had a bit of a systems failure at 28 minutes past, and so I've switched to this and I haven't actually unlocked it yet. So what you have here is the ability to choose different scales. Okay. Now, what I would recommend at the start is remaining in the major minor mode and just using the preset scales selected from this menu at the bottom here. But you can also change the mode of the scale. You can change the octave, change tonic, And then we have this nifty little feature, which is a cycle of fifths setting, which gives you, as the demo user, access to the following scales. Okay, which is C major, Ionian, F major, Lydian, B diminished, Locrian, E minor, and so on and so forth. I would recommend just leaving it in C major for this, and I'm going to, for purposes of this test. So let's leave it there, but that's where we change notes. So now I have, it's set up in a similar way to the Skoog hardware, lowest on the red, and then clockwise up to orange. Now we have this 5 notes. So this gives us this kind of pentatonic mode of playing. By changing the scales and choosing the different modes, we can access all kinds of different notes and palettes there. And we do plan to add, we'll be adding more kind of distinct note selection features and stuff as we evolve the product. But we just wanted to give this as very much a performance tool. So I've got it set up, and now I'm going to add some effects. So if I go to the effects tab here, now there are several different modes to each of the effects, but in the demo mode that I'm demoing here, it's probably quite good because I think that's what most of you guys have that are out there. I can simply turn the effects on or off. So a bit more reverb, put an echo on. It's quite nice. There we go. I can put a phaser on and some fuzz. That's pretty cool. Okay, so let's leave those on. And as I say, in the unlocked version of the software, you can choose, there's a range of different options that you can adjust here, but they're not available to me in the demo mode. So I've got my sound, and I can now play around with that sound. But let's have a think about what we could do more with iMusic. So how would, as opposed to just making sound and having it in the performance mode and focusing on cause and effect, really practicing the control of my eye gaze, how can I use this quickly and easily to get some people or students involved in a more sort of directly musical activity? Oh, so we've got quite a few people online now. Please do send me questions via the chat. So let's just say hello. Please let me know your names. There we go. There we go, and we can have a chat. So what I was wanting to do now is just show you how we can go from getting it set up like that. So we've had a quick look at getting the sound card settings. I'm not sure if everyone was online by the time I started that element. So do fire in some questions if you wish. So I'm going to show you an idea for using it in an activity base. So I'm just going to switch over the screen share view to viewing. There we go. I'm going to view my not my Google Hang window. Let's get. I'm going to pull up a browser window. Just pause for a minute. So on my machine, I'm going to go to Safari, my browser. I'm going to add a new window. There we go. And then when I do screen share now, screen share, that button. I can pull up my Google window. So you guys can all see. There we go. Present to everyone. There we are. I hope everyone can see and hear me. So I'm going to go into Google now, and I'm going to type Skoog Music. And so what you have with iMusic is a tunable pentatonic screen player as it stands at the moment. And so in order to then start making music with other people, all you need to do is set it to a key that will work with that piece of music or what other people are playing, and control your sound accordingly. Now what I'm going to do is show you some resources we have on the Skoog Music website. So just typed in Skoog Music, first hit in Google, and now if I scroll down to the bottom of my Skoog Music page, you'll see there's a resources section. If I click top tunes, and I go to popular tunes. Now, a lot of these resources will be relevant, applicable, and you could have a look at various ones and translate the kind of physical Skoog function into the eye gaze function. But I'm going to have a look at this tune. So these are a range of pop tunes that we have transcribed, looked at the key for, and got various information about. There's a real range of stuff here. ABBA, will.i.am, Rita Ora, Katy Perry, Kings of Leon, all kinds of stuff, okay? And hopefully you'll be able to find something, or a student or a user will be able to find something that they would enjoy playing with. And so this is just as an example of getting into using it. So if I click the traverses, I quite like this tune, this works quite well. No, wait a minute. I'm in demo mode. So normally if you had the full version of the software, we could click this and we could have a look, and it says select D major pentatonic. So I would then go to my iMusic, select D major pentatonic, and then use the iMusic to play along with that. I forgot though, I am in demo mode, so I need something that's in C major. So if I just scroll down here and have a look for something in C major, I'm looking at the C minor, Private Eyes, Hall and Oates. Let's give it a whirl. Okay, this is in C major. And then there's a YouTube link to play the song on YouTube. So if I play this now you may have to tolerate an advert. Hopefully it won't be too. Oh, there we go. I'm just going to turn them down a bit. Pause it a second. Now I really do realize that the sound's probably going to be not that great, because I'm not using the custom setup. We're simply playing through a speaker, and then the onboard mic is picking that up. So bear with me on this. What I'm gonna do actually is I'm gonna keep the sound quite low. I'm having a look at my. So hopefully. That looks like it's at a reasonable level. Okay. Go back to my screen share, and I'm going to go back to iMusic. Okay. There we go. Now hopefully we should now. I'm going to give my iMusic a bit more volume. Hopefully you can hear that. Let's turn up a bit more. So it's full. So I'm going to play along with all the notes using my eyes. I'm going to go into performance mode. Okay, so I'm going to press H, come out of that mode. Forgive me for a minute whilst I just bring Hall and Oates to a pause there, as much as I'm loath to do it. What? Look at that mustache. Right, so let's go back into a presentation mode. So here we are. Let's just go back to sharing iMusic a second. And hopefully, so you can hear, that's the sounds I was adding to that song. And hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, and that's really, it's a very simple piece of software to use. Obviously with the way the note setup is done and everything, it does help to have a little bit of music knowledge, or it just know where some information is located online. I would also recommend a really great resource for using iMusic. One, you can always email us, okay? We're here to help and here to provide you with resources and ideas, and we want the feedback in terms of how you're using it or systems that it needs more help with. So get in touch. Ben at Skoog Music, support at Skoog Music, Keith at Skoog Music. Let us know how you're using it. Let me just check on the Q&A. Oh, the Q&A things, whatever it is. Are there anything coming up on the Q&A? No. So what was I going to do? Oh yes, I just wanted to share with you. So the way iMusic is set up, let's have a Let's go back to screen sharing and have a look at it again. iMusic. Okay, start screen share. There we go. So the way it's set up is you choose it to be a sound, and it has a range of flute, percussion, wood, strings. I'm going to go into flute here, but in the demo mode, as we've got here, we just have vibes and we just have flute. So now I'm on flute, and I've got all of my effects turned on. It's quite nice, this kind of spacey flute. And then to perform, and then I would assign a set of notes to the interface, and we can change them here. But there's only a set few changes you can make in the demo mode. But in the full mode, you have a pretty full control of the type of scale, the mode, and how it's set up. And then I just simply press the H key to enter this performance mode. And you'll find that this performance mode really enhances the responsiveness of the player, particularly when you're using an eye tracking system. So it may feel, it may be that when you're setting up and if you're looking across the player, when all the eye feels a bit sluggish, but honestly, when you enter this performance mode, it really speeds things up. It's incredibly responsive then, and is much more playable. Okay. The other menus are if you want to record, and recording is disabled in the demo version. If I wanted to record, I would simply press this button to engage recording, and then I would be able to edit my recording by going up into this portion of the software here. So that's kind of all there is to the kind of use and the tips. Core thing is making sure you get your sound set up right. So going here into this audio settings, and remember the other thing is it's important to turn the sound off manually here before adjusting any of your settings, otherwise the software may well cause a crash. I'm not sure why it does that on some systems, but just to be safe, when you're adjusting your audio settings, do make sure the sound is off. And then here I can change it to different functions, find the right settings for me. For me, it's core audio and built-in output. The rest of the things will set manually. On certain PCs, you may find these vector sizes and stuff change, thread priority, and obviously latency you want to be as low as possible, but without it distorting. And you can save those settings. Let's save those. And then they should store them. So you don't have to do the audio settings every time. It should be once at startup, after install, save them when they are correct, and then you should be good to go. So that's the core thing. The next thing is playing around with the different overlay modes, the repeat time for setting menus, and the dwell time as well, and the response here. Let's turn the responsiveness up a bit. That should improve my playing. There we go. Oh, I've turned the sound off. Put that on again. And the way that we set up the notes interaction here is that we wanted it to be so that you could have this open for the more advanced user, and you could move through the kind of cycle of fifth settings whilst performing. To get access to different notes and palettes of notes on the fly whilst performing. Obviously that's for a more advanced user, but as you can see there, you can have the notes open and you can change them on the fly. Same with the effects as well, you can tweak those as you go, but only on the full version. So you would need to download the full version. You can access a full version of the software by going to upgrade to full version from this little pop-down menu that has more information on where to get a full copy of the software. And there's a list of suppliers you can go to there. It's £150 UK, so it's about just over $200, I think, in the US. So that is iMusic. I'm going to switch now, turn my screen share off, and let's see if Google Hangout. Oh no, don't screen share the Hangout. Just want to be in normal presentation mode. Okay, can you please switch to screen share mode? Not that we don't like looking at you. Oh, has none of that been coming through? Oh dear. Okay. Let's try this again. Eric has asked me to switch to screen share mode. I'll try this again on screen share. Present to everyone. is that. Now, I suppose this is the issue here, because this is yeah, it doesn't seem to. Wait a minute. Right, screen share, desktop, start screen share, music, music. Eric, let's get iMusic and start again. So I can see that you can see my desktop now. So hopefully, and if you can bear with me on the tunnel of infinity that's going on. This is present, your screen sharing, present to everyone. Okay. Now hopefully iMusic is starting. So we've still got 4 people. So I'm hoping now, if I get rid of this to the side. So run in demo mode. Okay, I'm going to ask a question. Can you see this? I'm really hoping so. Let me have, if I can, yes, right. So I'm going to start this webinar from now. Sorry to everyone who's been just set with my visage with this unfortunate angle. So here is iMusic. So I'm going to, normally you wouldn't see this window, but if it's okay with everyone, I'm just going to minimize this window and I'm going to start again. Okay. Oh, no, not like that. All sorts of problems with my webinar today. Now can I get back to, there we go. Here we are. So pop that down in the corner. So the first thing that you need to do with iMusic, so start it up. This is running in demo mode. And first thing you need to do is get your sound card settings set. So there's the different pop-out tabs here. These are all activated via dwell to click. And so the first thing you do is make sure your audio is set up right. I've set mine up already, but it's simply by going through the options and setting the right options for your sound card. Make sure that the sound is off. So that means that this button here is not pressed in when you're doing the adjustment. This is all on and fine, so I'm going to turn the sound on now. Select the sound, main sound on and off. And there we go. So hopefully you guys can hear that. Okay. So that's me making sound. And the other adjustments that I can make through the software is I can choose different instruments. So if I navigate across here to this tab here with the trumpet on it, this has instrument selection. Most of the options are blocked off in the demo mode. We just have flute or we have vibes. There we go. Let's go back. And the screen player has these concentric circles. The small one is a gentle activation, and as they get bigger, it's a harder or more forceful activation of whatever the sound model is that you're using. And I just want to check, can you still see my screen? Yes, you can. There we go. So hopefully you'll see this now. So what I might do is go through the process of setting up. So the other things, we can change instrument, we can change notes. It's in C major. I can cycle through this cycle of fifths here, which I can do on the fly whilst playing. And in the full mode, obviously I can change the mode, I can change the octave, I can change the preset, choose different tonics, etc., etc., etc. I'm just gonna, and all of these buttons have a repeater function on them, so that it's simply by dwelling on the button, it will click and repeat at a certain time to allow me to cycle through the options. So I'm going to load in the flute, and I'm also going to adjust some of the effects. So the other thing that I can change are effects that are applied to the sound. Now again, in the full mode, we can change the effects a lot, but in the demo mode, I can just add some of these modes. Let's just pop them all on. There we go, and we get to kind of space flute. And the other thing I can do is I can change things in reference to my user setup. So that the overlay mode is something I was talking about before. So this is dynamic one, which gives me some feedback, these lines that all converge at the point of focus. I like dynamic 2. And I really find that when I'm using the eye gaze, I find the overlay mode really helps me focus, it helps me control the system better, and it gives me more feedback, which perceptually helps me control what I'm doing much more effectively. So we've chosen a sound, we've chosen some effects. Just quickly, just to mention again, this button here, if I dwell on that, it pulls up all the information, and then I can't play the software in this information mode, but it does give you a pop-out to explain just where everything is. In terms of, so up here is where I can go to see the recordings, down there to set up my Skoog, it's all there. So shall I try playing along with Hall & Oates again? Let's see if we can make that work. Lost that. Well, let me try it again and see if I can play along. Okie dokie. So probably just is all reiteration. Remember, this was from, so you should be seeing my screen. I went to my browser, I went to Skoog, I went to the resources section down the bottom. And bear with me a minute. Let's do that again, and then we'll have a chat about questions, if that's okay. We went to find a C major tune, Private Eyes, Hall & Oates. We selected that. We've got the guys. And then, so if I play them, there they are. Hopefully, now if I go back to my Skoog, okay, so there we've got a little play along happening. Oh, flashy, flashy. So I'm going to pause them. I'm going to go back to normal presentation mode. Hopefully that will, there we go. Cancel. So hopefully that's in a nutshell. That's iMusic. It's like I say, I think the performance mode, by pressing H on the keyboard, particularly on the PC setups that I've been working with, it really improves the performance. I would really strongly advocate playing around with the different overlay modes, because that extra feedback really helps. It certainly helps me, and it's, you know, eyegaze is a fantastic tool for access, but it does take skill in using it. You do have to learn how to use that. I'm sure I'm preaching to conversion in that sense. We'd love to get some feedback from people using different eyegaze systems, and seeing how the software runs on those and how it responds, or head trackers. We're really keen to get feedback on that and see if there are any adjustments or amendments that we need to make in terms of the output. And also have a look at our resources. Another quick thing here, let me just show you. I would say that a really good website that will help you get quite a lot out of iMusic, even just in the demo mode, is a website called eChords. So I'm going to go back into screen share and just share my Google with you. Here we go. So I'm just going to go standard googly wiggly. There we go, with the googly eyes. And if I type into here, e-chords, right? There we go, echords.com, over 1 million guitars. So this is a guitar tab site, which is a system of learning songs, etc., and playing songs on the guitar without having to learn traditional notation. But if I type in here, what should we do? Let's do Katy Perry Raw. Okay. Raw, Katy Perry, select that. Now, I'm not interested in the tab itself, but what I am interested in is this information here. So at the top of each of these tabs, it tells me to kind of key for the chord, which would then allow me, this is G, and if there's no M beside it on this website, on eChords, if there's no M beside it, it means G major. So then I could take, if I had a student that wanted to play play iMusic along with Katy Perry playing Raw, all we'd have to do is we'd need the full version of the software because it's G major, but if it was in C major we wouldn't, or A minor. because those are the two kind of key things that you're set with. But if you have the full version of the software, you can then go to iMusic, you can change the key to G major, and then that student will be able to play in tune with Miss Perry and be able to make music with music that they want to play along with. And I found that, you know, for Skoog itself or for iMusic, that's been a really really useful way of applying it, a really great tool for engagement. I would also be interested if there are those of you that are working to introduce eyegaze to younger users or introducing eyegaze to any user, if, you know, I would hope that using iMusic in that sense to kind of allow the person to have a more interactive music experience might be a good way of introducing eyegaze technology, and also a great way of motivating practice and use in terms of understanding dwell and looking at activation and all those kind of things. So it'd be great to get any feedback on that if anyone has any. And other than taking more questions, there's nothing else in the Q&A box. Let's have a look in the messages. Where did the messages go? Q&A, messages. Hey, there we go. There's no more messages. So on that note, I'll sign off. Don't forget that one last thing before I go, in iMusic, let me just do a screen share again. Hopefully it will work. Let's pop it open, do a screen share. Oh, you know what I need to do is remember to screen share my desktop, not the software window. That's where it goes wrong. So in iMusic, remember, if you're interested in upgrading to the full version, just go into the demo tab there, and there it says upgrade to full version, and that will pull up suppliers of iMusic that you can contact to get a full version of the software. In the States, you've got Westminster Technologies. Dr. Ray Hype there will be happy to help you. Canada and the US, and Inclusive Technology servicing the UK and EU, and also you can purchase from the US for Inclusive as well. I'm not sure if that's the case for UK into Westminster. So we've got 2 resellers there at the moment, and we're also always looking for new resellers and ways of getting our products out there. So if you're interested in becoming a reseller for iMusic, please do get in touch. Now, let's see if we can go back to a normal presentation mode and say goodbye. I do ponder on these large tunnels. So, look, yes, thanks for bearing with me with the technical issues. I hope it's answered any questions that you had. It's been good sharing some information with you on iMusic. And please do get in touch. Let us know about features you'd like to see. If you have anyone performing or playing with it, we'd love to hear about it. And yeah, keep an eye out for other webinars, Skoog Music webinars. I also offer free webinars in doing music with autistic kids, using a variety of different techniques, inclusive instrumental provision and support. So keep an eye on our Facebook page on the QIAT list. Thanks very much. Good afternoon and good morning to you if you're across the water. Bye-bye now.